Well, good morning. You're watching Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna. Welcome to the channel. Well, we've had about 3 straight days of rain. It's been the first day of summer a few days ago. We celebrated the first day of summer here, and for about 3 days, it's just been a pouring, soaking rain. And if you've been around here for a while, then you know I love the rain. I'm thankful for every bit of it. I'll take every bit that comes this way because I'm in the city. And if it doesn't rain here and water my gardens, I have to get out here and just spray it with chlorinated chemical water that comes from the city that we have to pay for by the gallon. So I'm always grateful for a good soaking rain. And buddy, we've had one for the last 3 days. I got a clip of that rain and I'll be including it in this video for you so you can just see how much it's rained. Well, I wanted to give you a tour today of the garden so you could see it after a good rain. You could see how much it's filled in and grown with that 3 days of good soaking rain. And I also want to take you out in the back to the vegetable gardens in the back and show you the growth of the vegetable garden. You hadn't saw the vegetable garden in a while, and there's still a lot yet to be done out there with staking up some tomatoes and some different things. But I do want to show you what it is out there now. But first, let me take you around the front here. I'm hoping my hand is not being in the way of the camera. As you can see, everything is just lush and full. Plenty of going on, and there's a hummingbird eating. I don't know if I can get close enough to it to show you. Well, she just flew off. But I wanted to show you over here on this status right here. The hummingbirds just love those little trumpet-shaped flowers, and they have really been enjoying it. I used to feed the hummingbirds a lot right there. You can see one of the feeders is out. But lately I've been just trying to plant stuff that I know that they love. And they love those little blue flowers right there. I think it's called status. And you can see things have filled in and got thicker with this 3 days of rain. Here in the garden, some tiger lilies that'll be coming out and blooming before long. And they've got a beautiful orange bloom on them, and you can see the seeds there that's growing on them. I'll save some of those seeds and maybe put them in a different patch this year. The angel trumpet's coming up. Something's nibbling on it as always. Something always nibbles on that angel trumpet plant. It has a beautiful plant that blooms closer to the end of summer. There's plenty out here just blooming. Everything got watered well. I don't have to worry about any of that. Don't have to worry about watering. Well, I will check it tomorrow, but I know I do not have to water anything today. And then out here in the favorite middle bed, you can see those passion flowers are just popped out, and they smell delicious. They smell wonderful. As well as being beautiful. It's coming to the nearing of the end of the Queen Anne's lace for this year. But I have certainly enjoyed it this year. I certainly have. That hanging basket, got to catch up with the blooms on it. It's got plenty of water. We're nearing the end of the daylilies. You can see there's no blooms left on them. This is the end of their lives. We've got one or two little flowers hanging on. These two may open up right here. And that'll be the end of the daylilies for this year right here. And that's okay because they sure did show out and were beautiful this year. The pleurisy root, or the butterfly weed here, is still really pretty and orange. That little spruce tree's looking good. These are beautiful. Awesome color, shape and color. Things are a little heavy. They're laying over. They're a little heavy with all of the rain, but beautiful nonetheless. It's just beautiful. And over here in the side garden, the one that needs so much work, that's going to take a whole day of work, things are looking beautiful over here too. The elephant ear and this hanging basket. There's a lot that needs to be cut down. It needs to be de-weeded out here. But Donald and I are going to dedicate a whole day to this garden, to getting this garden back in shape. We got a little standing water over here. It's a little bit soaking wet right here. And you can see the water that's just still draining down from all the rain that we've had. We've got to cut back some of this wild rose bush. It's got a little miniature pink bloom on it, and it's really pretty. It's kind of shaded right here where it is, so we're going to clear out some right here. This garden's got to be worked on. You can see one of those tiger lilies is going to bloom before we know it. And over here is the spectacle. It's the highlight of this garden here, and that's calla lilies. And they sure are beautiful. And these calla lilies have probably been here at least 3 years, maybe 5 years. And so they're beautiful. Now this is a yellow one. I think up in the middle garden I've got a little white one. I don't know if it's blooming or not. But there's a little overgrowth here on the side. Not that we mind the overgrowth, because it gives a good privacy from this really active neighbor over here on this side. But here's that passion flower, the red passion flower that has never bloomed, or hasn't bloomed for us yet, that a friend gave me. It's a little bit different leaf shape and has a red bloom, and I cannot wait for that thing to bloom because I want to see that red bloom. Got that big, beautiful begonia that I love, that I've got plants starting over here. Over here, here's a eucalyptus a friend gave me years ago. I'm going to have to separate some of that. Here is this garden that has the elderberry bush. And a lot of the blooms on the elderberry are going away and the seeds are forming. So we'll be harvesting those before we know it. This is just the little naturalized area that is one day going to have the potting shed up here. I'm going up here and check on the begonia roots that we got started. Well, they're looking good. They're still hanging in there. So they should root just fine. Everything's getting a good natural watering. I won't have to water anything for a few days. This is the second day of this heavy rain. Doing all inside chores, all inside things today. It's a good soaking, steady rain. And that just rounds up the front gardens today. Now we're coming out here to the vegetable garden. Out here are the zucchinis that we put on the outside. It looks like the dog has trampled them right here. So it's a little messy right there. But these zucchinis are growing just fine. They have blooms on them. On both sides of the fence, they look like they're doing okay. So that is a good thing. And coming in the little gate, you can see the tomatoes. They're a good height. Got blooms on the tomatoes. So they're looking good. I've got to get out here and take the bottom leaves off that are reaching the dirt so that they won't be spreading disease. Here are the cucumbers. They're climbing up this cattle panel that Donald put here just fine. So this is the shape of the garden. Here's the okra. Got a couple of plants of okra here. They're doing fine. Some tomatoes, we've got to get them staked up. And over here is a little cabbage. I put some collards right here. And over here is a little cabbage that's growing near. I'm going to go ahead and harvest that cabbage today. It's the right size. Go ahead and cook it. So I'm just going to take that off today. Well, we got the cabbage. It has a little bit of snail damage. I'll have to cut that off when I clean it up. But we have had snails in the garden, and we've had them for quite a few years. And of course, I don't do much about them because I don't really want to use a pesticide. But it may come a day when I have to figure out something to get rid of these snails. But the back vegetable garden's looking really good. You can see there's some elderberries back here, and they're in bloom. Up at the top, I think this is probably the first year that we've had any kind of blooms on these. So we'll be harvesting elderberries from them this year. And over here, one of the wisterias is blooming, which is blooming a little late. That is surprising to see that wisteria blooming, but it is beautiful. It's a beautiful plant. It's not recommended to plant that thing because it's invasive. This one's been here for a long time. Well, actually, it came off of the mother one over here on the side, and we let one grow. It came up naturally. We let it grow because we want it to go over our deck one day. When we plant a new deck, we want to put a pergola or some kind of framework for this wisteria to grow up over the deck. So in the summer, there'll be shade from that wisteria plant. Well, it has rained for the last few days. Here's our little cabbage head we've harvested today. So I'll be cleaning that up, taking off these outer leaves and washing this up. We'll be having that for lunch today. Probably I'll just cook that, maybe make some cornbread. It's always good to get something fresh out of the garden. No matter how small. This one will be good and tender, this little cabbage head. We'll enjoy that today. Well, that's our little garden tours for the day. You get to see what the vegetable garden looked like. If you hadn't saw that in a while, and it's grown quite a bit. There's some work to do out there to stake up the tomatoes and just to clip those bottom leaves off of the tomatoes, and then just, doing a little bit of maintenance, weeding. That's what's to do out there. And then the front yard is just heavily watered and doing good. It's hanging in there, so it'll be beautiful in the next few days. If the sun comes out, it'll be a real beautiful garden. We'll get to enjoy the new things blooming. I can cut down some of the things that are finished blooming, like the daylilies. Thank you for joining me today, for checking out our gardens. I hope you have a wonderful day, and like always, until next time.